Today is day 142. So on paper, it's supposed to hatch Sunday. That's day 145, or at least that's the day that I should be actively checking on it throughout, obsessing over it, basically. Again, I mean, it could just not hatch. So,
or it could hatch.
It could hatch. I don't know. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Hopefully it doesn't hatch like a rat snake I had one time that hatched probably 5 days early, and I hadn't checked the incubator, and he was long gone from that incubator. But found him on a glue trap 10 days later.
Well, I mean, fortunately, they're pretty big babies, so if it does somehow escape, which it shouldn't because it's in a Sistema box, which has the little latches on the side and stuff. So
yeah, there's no way.
Even if it did, I mean, that's a decent-sized baby, and I don't think there's anywhere in that incubator that it could escape from. So unless it just has weird, freakish strength and can push open that door, but should be contained. But I'm excited. I'm ready. It's been a long wait. So
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 Baird's eggs in the incubator too that are going to hatch probably. Those were laid on 7/12, so we're coming up on. What's today? It's the 21st. We're coming up on what, 3 months? Yeah. 2 months. Yeah, I mean, there's another probably 2 or 3 weeks on those at least, and then that hypo.
What kind of birds?
So that one was the pair that I didn't even really like. I really half-assed on pairing because I was like, let's just see what happens. I put that wild-caught male Madera Canyon that Chris sent me a while back in with an undocumented female that I got from Weisler back in like 2019 from Daytona. And I put him in there, and I left him there like overnight and got no reaction from either of them initially. So I was like, okay, whatever. This probably isn't going to work. And then pulled him the next day because I was like, I doubt he did anything, whatever. And then a couple weeks later, female shed, and I'm like, wait a second, that timeline kind of adds up. Like, then I took a closer look at her, and I was like, she's grabbing, and I could count the eggs. It was only 4 of them, but 2 of those have gone bad, and there's 2 in the incubator that are still good. So I don't know. It should be interesting. It's a Eastern phenotype with that female who looks very Loma Alta E with the silvers and stuff like that to that Madera male, which is much more sort of brownish hay color. Not as sexy, but still. It's kind of just opposite ends of the range kind of coming together. We'll see. It could be
interesting.
Could just make a really not great looking beard, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Way to be positive, Smitty.
Can you hear me?
You still with us?
I'm trying. Yeah, my internet's struggle busting again. I don't know what the deal is. Actually, since this is an issue we have on Snakes and Stogies on a pretty much a weekly basis, I'm going to do some research because I read something today in the StreamYard Facebook group that it might be Chrome that is actually the cause of the problems and not necessarily the internet. So I'm going to investigate that. Some people said they were switching to Firefox, but then they had audio issues when they switched to Firefox. So there's all kinds of stuff.
StreamYard needs to get it together.
I'm doing this from a Chromebook.
Yeah, and I usually use Chrome, and it usually works better with Chrome. We tried to hop onto Safari before we got started here, and Safari just decided to like halfway load the page and then just give up. So bailed on that and went back to Chrome. So I gotta figure it out because I'm tired of it. I pay for relatively high speed internet, like a higher tier than just the baseline stuff, and it should not be giving me this much of an issue, but whatever. We're here. This is episode 199 of the Herpetoculture Podcast, brought to you by Black Box Cages. Check them out. Use the code THN at checkout. Whether you're getting a rack, whether you're getting a cage, you will not be disappointed. Black Box makes absolutely outstanding products. They have the giveaway they're going to be doing soon. I saw posted today. They're teasing a little giveaway again. So go follow them on Facebook and Instagram. And stay in the loop as far as that goes. I honestly don't even know the details of it yet, but there is one coming. So, and then Steve Snaketuary's Venom Hot Sauce. we had some like steak tacos tonight, and as I was making those things, the one thing I thought was, damn it, I wish I had some cottonmouth sauce, because cottonmouth sauce on those steak tacos would have been the icing on the Steve Snaketuary cake with those steak tacos.
Yeah, for sure.
If you get the whole set, or if you just get a bottle, pick and choose, whatever, collect them all, get one, try them one at a time, whatever. You're helping Steve with all of his public outreach that he does. So he does a ton of public education, relocations, rehabilitations. He takes in sort of abandoned or unwanted herps that were pets. And he's gotten some that are actually in really rough shape and managed to bring them back to like new. So, and he's a first responder. So if you get the hot sauce, the whole set, whatever, anything, because he has some other stuff on his site too that you should check out, shirts and whatnot, then you need to get on that and help him out because he's a good dude. And then Full Face Apparel, fullfaceapparel.com. Use code THN just for THN listeners and viewers like you. 15% off your order. Get yourself something cool. I have some Subok hats available. I only did like 3 and 3 on the Okatee and Subok hats, and the Okatee hats went quick. Subok hats, there's 2 or 3 left because I think one of them was kind of a mishap on the machine, so it looks a little funny, but I may just discount that one. I don't know yet. It doesn't matter. THN at checkout, fullfaceapparel.com. This week we are back with our buddy Mike Kosicki of NK Colubrids, who we've been trying to get on for a hot minute.
Yeah, you're doing some awesome stuff with the t-shirts and hats, Justin. It's really cool designs.
Yeah, he's doing great stuff. I need you to make me a yellow rat obsolete.
I know.
Yes.
I need a shirt and I need a hat. I don't know how many times I gotta do this, but all I need you to do for the hat is just do like yellow with like black in the middle and just write obsolete over the top of it, and you're done.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I sent you pictures for a shirt, damn it.
I know. I haven't had time to work on any of the other ideas that I have. I started working on an Abronia design the other night and got like maybe 15% of the way into it to where I wanted it to be, and I haven't touched it since. So your boy's been busy, and some nights I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to not get anything done. I'm just going to play Grand Theft Auto for 2 hours. And,
it's not a bad thing.
You know, it is, because then I feel guilty because I'm like, there's a ton of stuff I could be doing.
Yeah,
right now,
but you know, you got to take care of yourself sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. You got to have that downtime.
Complete time sink, but damn it, is it addicting?
That's right. Mike knows.
It's a fun game.
Well, do you have any updates since the last time we recorded 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was?
Nothing pressing. Oh, I got some stuff coming from Joe Peck next week.
Corns?
Yeah, not just any corns though.
Let me guess.
Take a guess.
Make a wild guess.
Why am I blanking on the morph? Because I hear you say it.
They're anneries.
Fucking time.
They're gold dust.
I don't know.
They are, in fact, castañas.
Castañas. That's
yeah.
it. I don't know why I was blanking on that. I hear you say this at least 5 times a week.
Whole bunch of castañas.
Yeah, right.
And then he had a male ultra male Okatee that he was like, I got this guy. I don't really have any plans for him. So, huh?
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Are we lagging again?
Son of
I can hear you guys, but you're freezing up in the image.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
I'm here.
I'm moving a little bit.
I am here.
Talking a little bit.
Nice. Hello.
Yeah, you can't hear me, can you?
I can.
Yeah,
now.
we can.
Okay.
It just came through.
What about anneries and gold dusts?
I was just making some off-wild guesses about what you might be getting, but I knew you were getting castañas.
Yeah, don't be silly. It's going to be castañas. And actually, so I've been thinking I definitely am going to part with a good bit of corns, and I'm thinking I'm going to completely narrow down the corn collection to castagna projects, lake locality stuff, and then the honey stuff.
I was about to say, you gotta keep that honey in there.
Oh yeah, honey's not going anywhere. So, and then, well, that's not true because I have the pied blood red stuff that me and Chris are gonna.
I was gonna say, what about the anneries, man?
What anneries?
That stupid annery
that big female he brought me?
No, the pair I gave you.
Oh, him. Yeah, no, he'd be staying too. So, all right. So when I say a lot of the corns are going to go, a decent chunk of the corns are going to go, but not as many as I think, because I'm going to continue to open tubs, and I'm going to be like, wait a second, I got to keep you, but definitely narrowing it down, because now, I mean, at this point, like, at least half of the corns I have are castagna or het for it. So, and the stuff I've got from Joe is going to real well into that. It's going to be some apricot. Do you pronounce it apricot or apricot?
Apricot.
Yeah.
Well, that's castagna and ultra mel. So those will be cool.
Those are castagna ultra mel.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, there's plenty of non-essential personnel. If there's anyone interested in corns, I'm going to get a list together this weekend. Probably actually put some effort into actually posting some, and then seeing where we go from there. And then, yeah.
Nice.
Got that other hypo clutch that still has not started hatching yet. Don't know what the delay is. They're going to pop soon. Like the condensation and the air exchange is definitely happening because the top of the tub is definitely getting misty, and like it's coming. We're getting there. I'm fully expecting to see him pip any day now. So I need Mike to work his black magic and summon them. That North Carolina voodoo.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
Nothing too much. I think since our last episode, I got the last two snakes that weren't eating from Daytona eating. So that was great.
What were those?
Het and gray rat I've got took a hopper. The only two that weren't eating were a het lemon gray rat, and then I couldn't get the Super Conda Arctic het albino hog to get going. But I got the
Is that a male or female?
That's a female.
Okay.
I got the het lemon to drop feed a hopper, so that was cool. All for that. And then the hog, I could not get her going. Then I was talking to Brent a lot, and he told me, he said, man, go get a can of pink salmon. He said, dump the juice out and let that pinky soak in the salmon juice. I was like, all right. So that's what I did. Went and bought some pink salmon. Let that pinky soak in there for a good 20, 30, 40 minutes. And took it out, dabbed off a little bit of the excess, and put it in front of the hog. And she was all pissed off at first. And I was like, all right, be chill, be calm, So I just moved real slowly and put it in front of her. Far enough for her to smell it. She started tongue flicking. All of a sudden, she just turned on and slammed it, dude, and scarfed her right down. So I was pretty stoked about that. Pink salmon, man. If you can't get a hog going, try that. So I worked like a charm. That was great. All of the second clutch of the gray rats have eaten now. Most of them have eaten twice. Some of them just took their first meals yesterday. So they're all on the way. Yellow rats are just immaculate. Those are about ready to start getting posted for sale. They're all three or four meals deep now. I can't remember. But they're doing fantastic. Second clutch of yellow rats, there's only 4 of them. Second clutch is due to hatch a couple weeks, beginning of October. I think they're due. So yeah, pretty much all good all around. So
very good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening. Already starting to kind of think about this next breeding season, what I'm gonna try and go for, and it's a lot. Not well, probably not. a lot, but who knows?
The gears are already starting to turn a little bit for me too.
Yeah.
Especially, it's just
there's a lot of potential pairings.
There's too many.
The pits, I'm definitely gonna try again. The albino pines, the albino Floridas, and the forks. I'm definitely gonna try and make that happen this year. Justin got some advice from somebody at Daytona that I'm gonna try out for
Ron Allen.
You're gonna give that a go again and see if I can't hatch out some Pituophis, which would be awesome. And then more gray rats. Next year I'm doing the Apalachicolas for sure.
You did not do those this year, right?
No, I did the Santa Rosas this year.
Yep.
I might do the Santa Rosas again, depending.
The female. Man, she gives you another like 60 babies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she gave me a ton, man, and so I might give her a go again this year, just because my ratios were so freaking bad this season, as far as males to females. So I'm gonna try. I might try her again, depending on how much weight I can get on her between now and December. Because she lost a lot of weight after her second clutch. So she's slowly putting it back on. So we'll see. I might give her a go. I might give her the year off. I don't know. Definitely Apalachicolas, Seminole County yellow rats are hopefully definitely going to go. I'm definitely going to pair them up. So we'll see about those. Possibly Hernando counties. I have to see if one of the bigger ones I have is actually a female. I don't know. She probed female. But the tail looks awfully male-esque. So Smitty, I might have you come.
What was the verdict on those carpets?
Yeah, both were girls.
So it was correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was correct.
That makes me feel better.
So yeah, carpets too. Hopefully, I'm gonna give them a go. I've been trying to put some size on my big girl again, and get her to hopefully go. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I don't know. Trying to decide exactly what I'm going to do. I might be able to get Deckert's rats from a pair that I just got from Chris Montross in Daytona. I would like them to be a little bit bigger, but Chris says they could probably go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might just leave them together and cool them down and see what happens. And if they go, they go. If they don't, they don't. Because they're cohabbed right now.
That was the problem. Is JT at Silent Hill did that, and then he brought everything out of cooling, and then everything just started popping out eggs like crazy. And he was taking the year off.
Does he cohab a lot of stuff
during cooling? Yeah, I believe he does.
Oh, during cooling. Okay. Yeah, I'll
got cohab like females together, but I ain't cohabbing pairs together. That's just
I try not to. I don't like cohabbing anything just because I like to track the animals individually a little bit better.
Nerd.
And I really hate feeding two snakes together. But right now in quarantine, I got those Deckerts and two female Posset Amel Gulf Amix together right now. And it's just a freaking nightmare feeding those things.
I don't trust that I could pair stuff like pairs together, like cohab them during cooling, especially here because of how unpredictable the winter actually is.
Yeah.
Right.
So I probably have stuff breeding
cold it is.
January and yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll probably just end up leaving the Deckerts cohab while I cool them because I wait till it's actually cold here and I just do a shorter cooling period. I get them like super cold for like a month and a half. Try to push it to 2 unless the weather doesn't let me. But I normally wait till end of December towards January to actually put everything in the garage because it's actually cold. I can count on it being cold for a while.
And where those are from in the wild, they don't really have a cold season.
Exactly. And that's why I think, a lot of the stuff that I work with, everything's pretty much Southeast. And we, Southeast and Florida, it's all, they get a month of semi actually cold.
Low 70s.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm just going to, try and get them a solid month of a cool down and then rock and roll after that.
I think at that point you could just as easily take them off food and just keep the room slightly cooler than you normally would. And then
cut down the photo period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did with the Bairds the first year I bred them. I just stopped giving them food and they were on the very bottom of the racks. They bred no problem, but I don't think Bairds also have to be cooled necessarily to get.
I think there's a lot of stuff that doesn't have to be cooled, but You know,
I had cohabbed the southern pine snakes the last 2 years and didn't get anything from them. And this year I separated them into separate containers and put them in the garage for about 3 months and brought them out and then put them in together. Never saw them breed or anything. I heard a lot of rustling around, and I'm in there feeding other stuff, but got 5 nice big fertile eggs out of them this year finally.
like, yeah, man. Do you know sexes on any of those babies yet?
Haven't sexed them yet. They've all eaten second meals now, so I wanted to get them established feeding first before we messed with that. But I'm eager to see that because I will be keeping a pair at least.
Yeah, man. Like I told you the other day, I have a random, Florida type male, and if you got extra female, I would definitely grab it from you because, I don't really have background. Obviously, I'm a locality guy. I like having county information, but having a lone male normal, I don't have that info on. I'm like, fuck it, I'll get a.
You want another male?
Get a random. No, I don't.
Yeah. The female has his locality, but the male is not. He was part of a project. He may be head albino. I don't know. But.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. Let me know if you got extra girl.
I will.
Definitely snag
Definitely
that.
send one your way.
That'd be awesome. But because, man, I got to send you pictures of the male that I got, dude. It's funny. I originally wanted the one you had, Smitty. Like when we saw them as babies, I wanted that one, and you were like, "No, I'm taking that one." I was like, "All right." So I took the other one, and man, I'm glad I did because that thing is it's got this weird, like really light orange color going on its tail. You know how a lot of them towards the tail they'll be more like pinkish red. This one's like this really light orange. And he's a freaking smoke show, man. So I'm pretty stoked to see how he ends up turning out. He's getting so big, man. A lot of them are growing like crazy.
My male is fairly light, but the female's pretty dark, and all the babies came out looking like her. I was kind of hoping to see a little more whitish and stuff on them, but I'll take it. Yeah,
man. Baby pits, can't beat them. Were they pretty easy to get going on food and stuff?
Well, they've all eaten frozen thawed. Some of them took it right away. Some of them I had to leave in overnight, but all the pinkies have disappeared from all the cages.
Yeah.
So,
hey, drop feed or tong feed, man. That's
drop feeding. Yeah.
First feed's a first feed. You can't be mad about that.
Yep. Awesome. Get them used to eating it. I'm gonna have to start feeding them some bigger stuff here soon because I can't even see the bulge in them from pinkies.
Yeah, those. Like the southeastern, like the big stuff, like the northerns and the southerns, like they can almost start on fuzzies, man. Like I had mine on hoppers within just a couple months once I got them from Chris.
Probably this coming week I'm going to drop in some African soft furred rat fuzzies to them.
Big
babies.
Yep.
Yeah, they're massive babies, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, those are incredible feeder rodents to raise, and I've got 3 little tanks of them in my garage, and they haven't slowed down breeding this entire hot summer. It's just crazy what I pull out of there.
Yeah, mine definitely. They're starting to pick back up again, but mine definitely hit a lull for a bit there.
I've really thought about just getting because I know some. Mike, do you do yours in just like a glass aquarium?
I do.
Okay, yeah. I thought I'd seen something like that, and I thought about doing that, just getting a glass aquarium with a group of either ASFs or mice, just to be able
ASS if you're gonna do it.
Do ASS.
Do they have really small pinkies?
Their small pinkies are about the size of a large mouse pinky.
Yeah, see, that's why I want to do a group of mice just so I can get those little itty bitty like day olds for like rat snakes and stuff, because I get so freaking annoyed with trying to buy pinkies and their extra smalls and day olds are like definitely not day olds, and it's irritating. So I thought about just getting just like a tank just so I can just cull all the day old pinkies for baby rats and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if I want.
I think you'd have to have more than one pair though for sure.
It would be like it'd be like a
produce enough to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, not right now. Yeah, it'd be like a 1, or 2.5 or 6 or something, and just keep them like that. But I don't even know if I want to do it. But it wouldn't be like, it would be more like a stock up on them, over the season, because like the baby rat snakes don't need those extra small ones for too long, like. So I don't know. Yeah, I might look into African soft furs.
I know a guy.
Worth it. Yeah. I might actually take some off your hands. No lie.
No, those are good because we talked about them. Like they don't smell nearly as much as mice do. Like they go in, like they have a designated corner or space that they all go to the bathroom in. So it's not like the entire tank gets gross. I mean, it still gets gross, but it doesn't get as gross as it does with like mice and rats.
It's just so freaking hot in my garage, man.
I
think bakes.
Keep them well hydrated. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. That's. I fill the water containers up about every 2 days.
I've lost way more rodents to the cold snaps in the barn where I have the rodents than I have with heat by a mile.
Really?
Yeah, dude. When we had those cold snaps last year, I had groups of mice that were just like, that was when I'd have to give them like a big pad of hay or something so they could get under it and keep warm and stuff. And there was a couple times where I just ran out of hay, and like I'd have some groups, like whole groups of mice, like frozen, dead. I mean, not frozen, but
jeez,
I lost so many more to cold weather than I did to the heat. Like I don't think I've ever lost an animal that I could clearly see had like heat exhaustion or something. Like,
did your water lines freeze up?
No. No, but for
I
some
thought
reason
that did happen one time though. Did it not? I thought you had them freeze up.
I was worried about them freezing up, but it never happened. But that's why I want to get one of those oil-filled heaters to keep out there.
Yeah,
man, to keep that corner and that area warmer, slightly warmer, like above freezing, to keep it from happening. But
I got one of the. I bought like the last one Walmart had when that whole freeze was coming through. And I got it specifically for the garage because it was dipping down a lot while I had the snakes in there. And, I shot the pits one day, I had the pits and rat snakes in there. And I shot them at 45 degrees one day. And I was like, yeah, it's a little cold. And so I went and, I'm okay like 45 to 55. Anything below 55 or 45, I get a little like, I don't know. That's a little cold.
Yeah.
So I went and bought one of those oil-filled heaters just to like keep right next to the rack in the garage, and I would just crank it up, and it worked. It worked okay because it's a bigger space, and it was so cold it didn't heat it that well, but it was like just enough to like make me feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. So, even though they probably would have been fine down to 40 or so.
Yeah, probably.
So it's the mental, for us.
I just get paranoid, man. That was my first year ever cooling snakes, man. It was weird, having snakes out in, 55, 45, and then it's shooting up in the 60s and they're all moving around and shit. And I'm like, fuck, man, like it sucks. But I really wish I could get a wine cooler, but like, wine coolers would be fine, but like you can't fit but so big of a tub.
Yeah, wine cooler
in a wine cooler,
a legitimate cooler.
Did you get any fox snakes from Montrose, Jake?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need a wine cooler for.
Yeah, but the problem is with like a wine cooler, you can only fit like a 6-quart in there. And
you'd have to get a restaurant grade like cooler.
Like those things need to go cold, from what I've heard.
Yeah. Chris cools them like all his other rat snakes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, some stuff like I have heard like some people do them normal. I think it's more of like a longer period. But Chris has said he cools them just like his other obsolete stuff, and he's had success. But I know Paint Jab is more of a put them on the longer side type of thing, which makes more sense to me, being one of those northern localities.
Like a dedicated winter.
Yeah, they have like a real winter. It's cold, it's long, and. So, but I don't know. That's a future Jacob problem because I'm still growing up my foxes. So I don't know if whenever they get up to size, I might cool them normally and see if they do anything.
You got a lot of eggs to hatch before that happens.
Yeah, buddy. They still got probably 2 years on left, before I can even think about breeding them. And even then, like I grow everything so slowly, like I I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I just have the pair of the Washington County Nebraskas. So they're cool, man. I love those snakes. They stink. Good Lord, their musk stinks. It's weird, man. They have such a specific musk. It's odd, and they hate me. But
worse than the broad-banded water snakes?
No, absolutely not. Nothing is as bad as those. But yeah, no, they hate me, but I love them, so it works out. But, so, Mike, let's talk about you for a little bit, my man. Give us the rundown. We've known you for several years now, thankfully, but give us the rundown, man. How'd you give us the cliff notes or the long version, whatever you want? How'd you get into reptiles? How'd you start doing all this?
Who is Mike Kosicki?
Yeah, how did MK Colubrids get going?
Well, basically because he was very non-creative when he first got onto Instagram, creating a name. Actually, my morph market thing is coastal colubrids. I like that much better. I'd love to shift the Instagram over to that. But I got into snakes. I lived in South Florida in the early 70s. So I'm probably a little older than what people think I am. When I was like 2 and 3, my mom would take me to the Florida Serpentarium, the old thing with like Bill Haas, with milking the rattlesnakes and cobras and stuff. And I have a few distinct, memories of that. I remember in the gift shop or sales area, whatever they had, I remember seeing this aquarium full of corn snakes with gray backgrounds and red and orange blotches on them, and just fascinated me. After that, we moved to Georgia. And I lived in Fayetteville, Georgia. And my mom got me a little guidebook to reptiles and amphibians because we lived in this little neighborhood that was carved out of the woods. And there were copperheads, king snakes all over the place. I didn't really know what they were at the time, but probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I remember walking outside this house we had, and the air conditioning vent or air conditioning unit outside, there was a garter snake that came up and was like telescoping up, looking out from it, and just kind of frozen there. And we stared at each other for a long time. And I think that's really where the fascination of reptiles, just kind of looking into its eyes and it looking into my eyes and stuff like that. I mean, it sounds a little cheesy now, but and just kind of went on from there. We moved up to New Hampshire. I actually got my first copy of The Keeper and the Kept by Caulfield up in New Hampshire when I was probably 5th grade, and devoured that book. And then moved down to Memphis, Tennessee for high school years. Had a speckled king snake saw actually quite a few speckled king snakes down there. And then moved out here to go to college, and really got into herps in the from '89 to the '90s. I had dry marking. Wish I'd kept a lot of the stuff I had then, but didn't think it would become rare or expensive at that time. Then got married, had kids. Had to get rid of the 2 rattlesnakes I had. We moved up to Boone, North Carolina.
Why would you have to get rid of the rattlesnakes?
Something about yeah, Justin, you explain it to him. It'll be coming for you soon, Jake.
You mean you didn't buy your wife a boat and say it was fine?
No,
that's not how that works.
That's not how it works. No.
I don't want
It's one thing to have a corn snake escape. It's another thing to have, a canebrake escape in the house. But so when I'm getting married, actually, that's kind of funny or kind of sad. But right when we did first get married, I had a bunch of Everglade rat snake hatchlings, and my wife had a ball python. And we lived in this house, and we just had our first daughter, Tabitha. We were going to visit her parents over Christmas, and I told my wife, turn the heat down. She took that as turn the heat off. So when we came back and walked in the house, and you could see her breath, it was in the 30s. Every one of the Everglade rat snakes.
Like The Exorcist.
Yeah. But the ball python did not survive, unfortunately. But we moved around. We went
in her defense, she did turn the heat down.
She did turn it down. Yes. And unfortunately, she turned it off.
Did the job.
she did save electricity and energy. Yes. But we wound up living in Boone, North Carolina, up in the mountains for 10 or 12 years. And
nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. We lived in an old farmhouse that was not conducive to keeping reptiles. So I had a few snakes then, corn snakes. I raised a red-tailed green rat snake. I rescued at a pet store. But most I got into rock and minerals and stuff at that time, and when I'm moving back to moving back to Wilmington here in 2013, because my dad was sick and my daughter was getting ready to go into high school, so we wanted to make a change, and that's when I really got back into herps, and started looking up Kathy Love one day on the internet, see what happened to her, and found Joe Phelan's podcast, and one thing led to another, and here I am with you guys.
Very cool, man.
And,
was that farmhouse haunted?
It was not haunted, no.
Justin thinks everything's haunted.
I do.
It was only 100 years old. It wasn't old enough to be.
Oh, they're definitely haunted.
No one died in it.
If it's older than like 10 years, it's haunted. That's my
you probably would have thought it was haunted by the way the air came through and the barns next door banged tin and everything, but it really wasn't. But I actually found a lot of cool herps up there. And it was really interesting because you wouldn't find them every year, but certain years, like we found queen snakes, and then the next year we'd never see them again. But then we'd find black rat snakes everywhere. And in one year we found 3 baby eastern milk snakes in the house. That probably been laid underneath the house. They came up into it. But
wow.
So interesting stuff up there.
How far is Boone from the South Mountain stuff?
It's probably about 1.5 to 2 hours as the crow flies. That South Mountain stuff is closer to Asheville.
Okay. I've been to Boone. It's been a really
kind of
long
between
time,
Charlotte and Asheville. We're up north in the Virginia corner.
Yeah, got you.
So what does your collection look like now, and why are obsolete rats your favorite?
Correction. Why are rhino rats your favorite?
Actually, no Castani. What? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, hey, we already
Castanis
know, like by default, that's already there. We know that.
Those are, and that's actually a good question because I've
Justin, you think everything's your favorite. All right. You need to choose one, stick to
that's
it. Is it
rich coming from you.
Castania or is it friggin' rhinos?
It's by category.
Right.
And I've been poking a lot of fun at you
Lane?
recently, too, Justin, about what happened to the Bairds. Two years ago, it was all
The
Bairds.
Bears are still there.
Bairds are basically gone.
No, they're not.
What happened to Bairds beat Battlestar Galactica?
I don't even. Shut up.
Loser.
The Bears are still here, okay? But Mike is personally very much responsible for my Castania problem. So
only because I found out that I had 2 males.
He did enable that.
Yeah. No, I saw a picture of I think JMG.
But again, I ask, what's it?
No, go ahead. No, I saw some pictures, some JMG.
No, I was just going
German
back
Castanies. They're just incredible looking corn snakes. So I tried to scout those out for a while and finally got what I thought was a pair, but turned out not to be. So obsolete is awesome. Yeah. I love the rat snakes. Everglade rat snakes, I'll always have those. Those are just beautiful. Love them. That yellow rat snake I posted on the group yesterday, I took him out to take pictures to put him on Morph Market. And this is what happens every time I go to take pictures and put a snake on Morph Market. I handle it and interact with it. And it's like, nope, you're staying here. Put you back. Let's find another one we can sell.
Yeah. Do you still have the Polk County yellows, the pair?
I do not know. The female I lost early on, and then the male I gave to a local friend here that has some rat snakes. She's into them too. So that's pretty. That big male is the only yellow rat snake that I've got left. But he produced a clutch with a local female that's very light colored, and I'm raising up a pair of those babies, and they're very interesting looking, kind of like a desert camo kind of look.
Well, I can change that, Mike. I have Pasco County Floridas with your name on them.
Didn't
I
you
need
hear
I need a
him
sub-adult.
not fall asleep while he's playing with the snakes?
You need
What's that?
sub-adults. What fun are sub-adults? I
I
said,
need
what
some
fun
bigger
are
ones.
sub-adults? You need babies.
I don't want to raise a baby to go with my big male. But yeah, I've got the 3 rhinos.
Well, that's why you get a pair of Pascos to raise together.
I had gray rat snakes for a long time. Those are one of the first snakes I bred when I got back up here. And I thought they were really cool and special, Liberty County locality animals. Then I found Montross and saw his collection and realized, yeah, they're not quite that special.
They're special. You still have the hypo gray rats, don't you?
I do, and I got a male this year to go
Yeah.
with her. So next year. Next year, this year, I'm glad I didn't breed a lot of stuff. I'm totally excited about the stuff. Like I had some Okeetees hatch, a little clutch of that, but breeding those southern pines and have these box turtle babies, that this year is perfectly fine for me. Next year is going to be big though, because I've been raising up a lot of 2021 stuff that should go kind of like you are. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, hopefully those rat snakes will go together. I'm going to put those out in the garage for about a month or two and then put them together.
And those are county specific, aren't they?
They're Washington County, yeah. A fellow named Sam Day, I think he collected the first hypo. Yeah, you guys froze up for a second.
We're having connection issues again.
I can hear you now.
Please bear with us.
Yeah.
Are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away for just a second.
Can you still hear us?
Can you hear me? Are we back? Oh no. Yeah, I can hear something, but it's okay.
Are you there?
Hey. Can you hear me? You're frozen up on my end.
Can you hear?
I can hear you. You kind of sound a little mechanical.
Is it cooperating again?
Yeah, now you sound normal. I see you moved a little bit.
Hold on.
We can do it. We can do it. Gave me a chance to go to the bathroom and get another beer.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't know where Justin went. He might be restarting the Wi-Fi again.
That's all right.
Should we restart it again? Oh, okay. Let's turn the Xbox off.
Okay.
All right. I think we're back.
All right.
Okay. Where were we? Washington County Gray Rats.
Yeah. At Daytona, we passed each other near the stairway, and I was with a guy and showed you that. That was the guy that caught the first one, Sam Day. And it was a project I'd seen him working at those, and I actually my bright orange Everglade rat snake I got from him, supposed to be a Florida City locale. He was working with those, but the price is a little bit out of what I wanted to pay for him back in the day. So, yeah, last year Billy had that female at his table, and we went up trading.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was driving home just thinking about that snake and just like, why didn't I get that? What the hell was I thinking? And I started texting him through South Carolina, and we worked out a deal to ship that to me. And then I was kind of searching out for a male, and Montrose had one for a little bit, but then he wound up selling it. But then Sam posted this thing on Fauna, and it's related that from that line. It's a het from that same line. So we'll find out for sure next year, hopefully.
Very cool, man. Yeah, that het you got is just a smoke show.
But yeah, that subtle coloration on it is just really cool. Seeing that rat snake that you have, that's the intergray between the gray and the yellow. I wish I had bred that big male yellow I have to herd this year and see what popped out. That thing is special that you have, Jake.
Yeah, that thing's it's definitely a unique animal. Not all the intergrades come out that great, and she is just
it's like a gray rat snake with like a yellow head kind of thing.
It's like got like a yellow sock on him, but she's pink. She's completely pink, all down her entire body, and just got like this yellow sock on her head, and it's just she's incredible, man. It's one of those things I really want to find a mate for her. I want to go out and find one from the same county, but honestly, if I don't, that's fine too. She'll be with me forever, man. She's just such an incredible snake. But I don't really want to plug a gray into her. I don't want to plug a yellow into her because it's gonna wash out the other. So I'm just kind of gotta wait for the right one.
Yeah. Just be patient and keep the search going.
You
find it.
Yeah, the problem is I gotta get down there. I was down there for a little bit. I was going to Skylar's, and me and my buddy Preston stopped through there and did a couple passes on a few roads. So I found some good spots. I think I could potentially find some, but I gotta go at a better time of year and better time of day because it was just in the middle of the day and we didn't find anything. So
we'll
see. I'm curious.
Who can probably find one for you? Harry's mom.
Do what?
Harry's mom can probably find one for you. Oh, you guys froze up again. The Harry Claiborne.
She's a little.
She's
more Levy County. Yeah. I know Harry. I don't think she's in the area that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think she's in my area that I need for the intergrades.
Harry and I've been talking about finding a male gray rat snake for me, and his mom found 2 or 3, but he couldn't find one.
Yeah,
we're still going to drink a beer with that guy at Daytona.
Oh yeah, man. We were all disappointed he couldn't make it, but he definitely had to look out for the family.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him at all. Yeah. So, but yeah, everything's smoothed out with him, so that's great. Can't wait to see that dude. I'm trying to get him down to my neck of the woods to go try and find some king snakes because he's a king snake nut.
Yeah.
So,
do you guys find a lot of Eastern Kings down there?
No, I really don't. There's a spot not too far from me. I don't live far. I'm sure you've heard of the Edisto Kings.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm I can be in Edisto in like an hour. So I really want to get out that way, see if I can't turn something up. But as far as Beaufort County, I've seen a lot of stuff like, people breed a lot of stuff from Jasper, which is just, our neighboring county. But as far as Beaufort goes, I found one king snake like 12 years ago, and I haven't seen one since. My sister sent me a video of one actually not far from my house some years ago. But I don't know what it is, man. They're far and few between around here. So
Seems like they're found in around here specific areas. They're not widespread. Like rat snakes are probably the most common snake in this area, and banded water snakes. But when you find king snakes, you can usually find a lot of them in the same area. Unfortunately, they're really narrow yellow bands up here, so they're not the prettiest. But
see, I like the narrow bands, but I want those narrow bands to be white. You know what I mean? Like I really like I really like thin banded stuff. I don't like the, super high white and, really wide banded stuff. I want the thinnest bands you can get, but I want them perfectly white.
And, I think I've seen something like that from Virginia, like north of that Chesapeake area. But,
you get them around here, man. The Jasper County stuff I've seen is white bands. So I really, I was talking to Harry today actually, and I ran on Morph Market. And sure enough, right away I found some Jasper County Kings, and I was like, oh man, I want them, but I don't know. I want to find my own. So
yeah,
we'll see. Might have to make a trip to Edisto and see if I can't get lucky.
I had two of those Georgia wide banded Kings for a while. There's like South Georgia, that. I don't know if they're really found from there, or more like a morph that they say is from there. But I just had to get rid of them finally because those things had the worst aim. Like I'd hold a mouse on the tongs. It would just come flying past the mouse, grab some part of my hand or arm, and it would never realize it made a mistake. It would just be latched on for 15, 20 minutes. And it hurt. It didn't, it wasn't like, it didn't feel good. It crunched down. So I got sick of that.
But man, give us a rundown of, obviously we know you keep some Everglades rats and some, obviously you're big into corn. So give us a rundown of kind of what your collection looks like now, and maybe give us, some corn projects that you're working on.
Well, besides the corns, I've got the Everglade rats. I've got the Asian beauty snakes. I've got a pair of those. Hopefully with Taiwan beauties, it'll hopefully go next year. I've got them in a big 2x2 by 4 foot tall vertical enclosure now. So they're going to spend the whole season in there together. And I've got a calico female, drawing a blank and who I got that from, but he was from the Midwest. Same guy Billy's gotten some from. And then I got a het calico from a paint shop this year, a male. He's growing like a weed. So that'll be a couple years away to have those hopefully. I've got a trio of California king snakes, black and white, kind of aberrant patterns. One's a high white, one's a mosaic. The other one's just kind of a banded mix. Those are just really, really neat looking animals. Trying to go down my list. I've got 7 southern pine snakes now, 5 babies. Got that. I've got a Brazilian rainbow boa female. She's growing up. She's about 2 feet now. That's a really nice animal. Rat snakes and corns. Yeah, I've got a couple of holdback rat snakes. I still do have a pair of Etheristic Florida king snakes that are red. They keep the red on them. Phil looked at them and said, "Oh no, those are hypo," but they're more than that. They are as red today as they were the day they hatched out. So I've thought about getting rid of those a couple times, but every time I open them up and interact with them, like no, I got to see this one through.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the rest are mostly corn snakes now. I'm not in the snake room, so there's probably some things I'd spot in there, but I've got a pair of strawberry diffused corn snakes I got from SMR Dawn a couple years ago, and they are just really, really cool red color. They have a pattern on them, but they're kind of like blood reds. But if I was to name them more, if I'd call them a ruby red corn snake. Mm-hmm. I got eggs from them last year. They went until about 2 weeks, and then they went bad. I've got 2 in the incubator right now. that have probably about 3 or 4 weeks to go. So, knock on wood. We'll see. They don't. I didn't give them high hopes because she laid 6 eggs and only 2 of them were good. So we'll see if those hatch out. If they do, I'll be pretty excited. I really like the red factor stuff in corn snakes. I picked up quite a few things from VMS when they went out of business last year. Who he's dropping his prices down. Got a really killer pair of gold dust corns that they should go next. They tried to go this year, but I separated them before it went too far. The male was totally all over the female. The other thing I've got Oregon red spotted garter snakes.
Very nice.
Those are nice. Those I decided to get turn into garter snakes about 3 or 4 years ago, and I went up getting coastal red garter snakes from Tim Spuckler. I got some Pacific Northwest, and I got the Oregon red spots at the same time from the same breeder. I got a pair of Easterns from Matt Dove, and I got a pair of Lake Chapalas, who you guys had on the show recently, who I sold those to. That he said, I got them from some guy in Morph Market. I was like, that's me. That was me. They were all right, but they were really shy and skittish. They always wanted to stay hidden. Every time I walked in the room, they jetted away. So it's not really, they weren't really that much fun to interact with to me. I didn't keep them until they got 4 or 5 feet. But the Oregon red spotteds to me have been the best. They have the best temperaments. They don't try to bite. They're always out. Very friendly. Great personality. So those are the ones I've held on to, and then they've got great colors and stuff too. I have one big female and 2 males. So maybe something will happen here soon with those.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool. I need to get them in a bigger cage probably right now, but the other corn stuff, I got a pair of Casanis from Daytona, another year or 2 on those. Not all the morphs yours have, Justin, but I got a red factor anery from VMS. I've got lots of stuff I could breed him to. A couple normal females from there. Just a lot of odds and ends, but a lot of different types of red factor. I've got the VMS red factor. I've got red factor from SMR. I've got the red factor from JMG. I actually do have a striped corn snake now. I've made fun of y'all for a long time about the tesseras and stuff, but I do have one of those. Got a really nice little trio of, we're not sure if they're red factor or not, but they came from ECW from Eric. He sent them to me recently for, he's so cool to work with. Eric's such a great,
he's a great dude.
Yeah. And then they're just fantastic. He sent me a striped one, the striped tessera that I didn't really ask for, but it's just it's a perfectly patterned snake. It's just fantastic. And they're supposedly related to that really oddball snake that he had. He calls it the Miss Blenny line. So we'll see what we get out of that. Oh, and then those red factors we got last year at Daytona.
Yeah.
Those things are, I can't wait to put those together. The normals, the normal female is like the brightest. It's just fantastic. I keep the anery and the normals together, male and females in separate tanks. And it's so cool just to look at them, the contrast of the whitish gray anery with this bright orangey red female or other snake.
Yeah.
It's just really neat. I try to keep a lot of my snakes in tanks so I can look at them when I go in the room. I can't keep them all, obviously, and some of them do better in containers or tubs, but I'd have a lot more space if I kept them all in containers or tubs, but it's really nice to walk into the room and just kind of see everything.
Yeah, for sure.
See it interacting and stuff.
Have you thought about doing red factor into the gold dust stuff?
I want to just produce gold dust first and see what comes out.
There's a
head for stripe, but that could be.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully it wouldn't just make an orange snake because the yellow in this gold dust, it looks like it just glows. I mean, I've got them on a kind of a mulch substrate that's dark, and it's you'd think I'm shining a bright light on it, but it's just that's what it is. Just incredible.
Yeah, I like the red factor stuff. Chris brought me a adult female coral ghost, or she's red factor. And she it's it's really frustrating because in person she is a hue of pink. It's very subtle, but it's there, and I can't get that like a picture or video of that at all. It does not show up. I don't know what it is, but if I post a picture of her, she just looks like an anner. She doesn't look like anything. So
the only time I've been successful with it is you kind of have to lower the lights a little bit. You can't take it under direct light because it'll look like a whitish snake. But I picked up that I can't think of what it's called, that pink okatee from Lee Abbott's table at Daytona. I was bound and determined to get something from Lee Abbott this year, and coral okatee, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
and it's just I can't imagine what that's going to look like grown up. But but the only pictures I've been able to take that kind of show its true colors have been almost in the shade.
That makes sense. I'll have to give that a shot. But
yeah,
I'm really, that's one thing as far as the Castagna stuff that I really want to pursue is putting red factor and like a coral ghost in particular with the Castagna. If that's already something that looks very muted and like the colors are very sort of faded and the patterns sort of faded, and I think that with the Castagna would look good. That would build upon each other well.
Yeah. And I'm not going to pretend to be any kind of expert on corn snakes because the people now that I'm interacting with, the corn chat group and other places know so much more about it than me and have so much more experience seeing what things are when they hatch out and whatnot. It's the corn snakes have become like ball pythons now. It's with the different morphs and stuff, the different 3 and 4 levels of morphs you have in a single animal. It's just crazy. I used to kind of my mind, I'm thinking like ball python people. Once you get past naming 3 or 4 morphs, to me, it's just a pretty snake. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of lose me at that point myself,
Yeah.
I like the simplicity, man. I like simpler combinations and more baseline sort of stuff. I don't, when there's my threshold is like, if the label I print for a tub is longer than like 4 inches, there's a problem. Like that's too much.
Yeah, and don't get on into all the pHs, because that's yeah.
That's my biggest thing with it, man. Like, I was listening to Corn Stars today. Got through that episode. Great episode, by the way, Justin.
Thank you.
If you haven't listened to that, you like corn snakes, go check out Justin's other podcast, Corn Stars. They do a great job. That was one thing that, like, you're talking about the scale of stuff, and you're like, one day I fully expect just to randomly hatch out a scaleless.
Would not surprise me at all.
I can't do that. Like, I don't like unexpected stuff. I like to know what's going to be there. Obviously, if like with Chris Montross's pale sides that threw out in his Everglades, that was really cool. It was just something new. These were from wild caught animals. They ended up throwing these pale sided animals that just look absolutely insane. That's kind of different because it's like a new thing that popped up. These are from wild caught animals. It's going to be relatively simple. But like having something and you're like, I don't know what's going to pop out. I don't know what could be in here. That would drive me up the wall.
It's fun to a degree.
I could see it being kind of fun. Okay. Like, ooh, like, I don't know what's going to happen. But like,
and then you're left guessing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't, if I could identify anything and everything that popped out, I would be like, okay, cool. But it's the same thing like ball pythons. I've seen so many people are like, I don't really know what this is. I don't know what's all going on here. It's a combo of this and that for sure. But like, there's something else going on. Not too sure. Like, dude, that would drive me freaking nuts.
Well, like I have that Craigslist corn that's an Annery Motley with a lot of yellow on him.
A lot of
really good looking snake, but I have no idea what his hets are because it was a PetSmart corn from the people that I got it from. Like, that's kind of exciting because it's like I compare it with something like another Annery, and it's like, let's see what we get. Like,
Ultramel is another thing that I've got a couple of corns too. Like I've got a killer Annery Ultramel that I got from PetSmart. It's a female. And I got that Sunrise male Ultramel this year at Daytona that I'm going to put him with a couple of the females.
It's funny. Years and years ago in college, I actually, I got him while I was in high school. And I had him while I was in college for a little bit. But I had a pair of Ultramel Motleys. They were actually other than the first snake I ever got, That was a corn snake that died in my hands a matter of months later. I had a pair of Ultramel Motleys for a while, and those are cool snakes. But it was funny. I accidentally I cohabbed them for like a while. Then all of a sudden, I got like slug eggs, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" You know, because I was like, I don't know, 15. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and so I ended up, just separating them out or whatever. And but it was funny. While I was in college, I actually traded those snakes and $40 for my first carpet python. So
it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, little fun fact.
I do like Ultramel. It's grown on me a lot. Sort of
around
earlier
for a long
on
time.
within the last year or so, I was kind of on the fence about it, and just because of it being tied back to an intergrade or a hybrid. But
is that tied back to a hybrid? How many things are tied back to hybrids and corns, man?
Scaleless and Ultra.
Oh, it's just Ultra.
It was Ultra with a gray rat.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks really cool. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah.
I have some of those Ultramel Aneries that Chris sent. That you see them as babies and they look nice, but then you see pictures of adults and you're like, okay, that. Another thing that I want to put into Castagna, man.
The pastel colors that come in are just
they're really good looking snakes. And that Ultramel that I got from Tony D this year at Daytona, like, that's a really good looking snake. And then that male that I got coming from Joe Peck. My plan is to use that male with that Ultramel female in the next 2 years at some point, just because I think those will produce some really good looking snakes, but we'll see.
And I've got 2 different types of Anery Sunkissed now too. The one I bought, they're called Silver Queen, but it looks like it's like a regular Anery Sunkissed from pictures I've seen, but the colors in it are just grays, some pinks, oranges, just really incredible. And then last year from Corn Snaking, I got a pair of Red Factor Anery Sunkissed that supposedly the line came from Spain. They're developing some really nice, not really orange, but just pink kind of background color on them to go with the gray and stuff, kind of reddish saddles. It's really neat stuff. Those may be some of the favorites in my collection, actually.
Dude, one thing I've realized from looking at all these corns, between what Smitty's got and, seeing all the corns at Daytona, because Daytona is just, if you like corn snakes, Daytona is the freaking show for you, dude. But I really like pink corns, man. Like, there's something about them that just look really, really nice. I think my favorite corns, though, that I've seen are like any of like the pink stuff, and then Justin, your mandarins. Those mandarins are friggin' hot, man.
Yeah.
Did I show you when you were at the house last? Did I show you the Amel Everglades?
Mm-hmm.
Those to me look exactly like your mandarins.
Just not as good.
No, they're just better because they're locality. And,
okay.
Whatever. And they're Everglades, so they're just gonna be bigger and better.
Real snakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
It's a man snake. But
you're not handing that to a 5-year-old to handle.
No, absolutely not. They're not. They're actually not bad. It was so funny, man. Like, so I got the Amel. I got a pair of Amels and a pair of Posset Amels from Chris Montross, and they're amazing snakes. But it's so funny the difference between the Amels and the hets. The Amels were like upon like the first feedings and stuff. The Amels were way more hesitant to tongue feed. I had to drop feed them a few times. I tongue feed everything. I'm not much for drop feeding. I do it if it's absolutely necessary, but I prefer to tongue feed everything. And my snakes have kind of learned that's how I do it. So everything, once they get used to how I do it, they tongue feed regularly, so it's not really an issue. But those Amels, like, they weren't too keen on tongue feeding. It took a little bit of teasing. They eventually took, and a couple times I had to drop. But the hets were like no hesitation, right off the tongs, both of them. And it was like a very clear difference, between the Amels. They were both like that. Then both the hets were just crazy for for food, and it's just weird, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But man, the snakes are cool. But yeah, I thought it was crazy how similar the mandarins look to the Amo glades. They look to me, they almost look identical. At least at this size and age. Because I think your mandarin's probably a little bigger than my Amo glades, but they look so similar to me. It's crazy.
Like Castani takes a lot of the red out, kind of leaves it more orangey, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very orange. I really like those mandarins, man. Woo.
Yeah, and I mean, even as babies, like when those things come out, they really don't look. They look almost more like snows. It's kind of odd because after they shed a few times, then it really starts to the saturation gets turned up on that, that first third or so of the body, and
that's how it is.
Odd.
That's how it is with the Amel glades too. When they come out, they're a lot more white. Almost, they're a lot more faded, in color. They don't have that orange yet. The ones I have now are just bright orange, just like the mandarins are. But when they're born, they're a lot more faded out, almost white in color, and they're cool snakes, man.
It's just a morph that needs more
attention, man. I'd like to see some other stuff plugged into that mandarin project, man. Like I'm really curious to see where that goes.
Talking about obsoleta, I forgot two leucistic Texas rat snakes I have, and regular Texas rat snakes.
Yeah,
white demons.
They're actually not. They the females that I have, I got them in 2015. From Underground Reptiles, and one of them I could hand to a 5-year-old. The other one's a little spicier, but they're really cool snakes. I've given them the last 2 years off of breeding, but I kind of want them. I got a male that I've grown up that I want to put them in with next year, have some more babies. And I've got regular Texas rat snakes too, babies from last year. Really nice colors on them so far. I'm keeping a pair, but if anybody wants them, hey, I've got 1.2 available.
Are
very good pricing.
Are they locality specific?
They're not. No, they're not. The female was a het leucistic, and the male may be a locality. He's actually really bright yellow colored. Bill Bradley has him now, but I kind of
made Jake's dick go soft.
What's that?
Said you just made Jake's dick go soft. No locality data? Are you out of your mind?
No,
okay, Montrose Jr.
I've got no. I take that as a compliment. Okay, like
mini Montrose.
I will accept that fully and through. Yeah, Montrose has been a huge influence on my collection now.
Huge but bad influence.
No,
he's been everybody's crack dealer. I mean, we've all been through it.
Not me. I've been free and clear of that guy.
Bad in the way of I spent way too much money. But man, I love that guy to death. He's really helped me out a lot. I appreciate he's my mentor. I consider him my mentor in the hobby.
Oh yeah, he's one of the best guys I've ever dealt with. I could tell him like in January, like, oh, I'm interested if you hatch any of those, and then 10 months will go by, and he'll text or something and say, okay, I've got a pair available for you now.
And what's crazy?
He hadn't even mentioned those for 10 months.
What's crazy is he doesn't keep a list. He doesn't. He doesn't make a list of because he doesn't do that. He never has. But like if you know him and you know him well, because I've done the same thing. It's been months and months since anything's ever been mentioned. He's like, oh yeah, I have this pair ready for you if you want them. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. So he's been such a good influence on me in the hobby, and probably the thing I love most about Chris is that dude's not afraid to tell you exactly what he thinks. I can't tell you how many times he's been like, why are you doing that? I'm like, well, this thing. He's like, don't do that. You're being stupid. Do this, and you're overthinking this. Do that. I
brought him some locality banded water snakes from Wilmington down to Daytona 2 years ago, and got berated because I had them in a container with mulch, wet mulch in it.
Yeah.
And you're getting blisters and like,
oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I just drove 8 hours.
He'll tell you how it is, man. That's the one thing I love about the guy, man. He's not afraid to tell you exactly how it is and what he thinks. And I respect him a lot for it because he's probably the most knowledgeable person I've ever met when it comes to snakes, man.
Oh yeah,
he's done a lot. He's bred a lot, and it's so funny. I'll talk to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I bred these back in the zoo, and at such and such a year."
1865.
Good, someone older than me.
Yeah, Montross has been I consider him my mentor in the hobby.
I like to talk smack because I know he's going to listen.
Yeah,
he'll message me, berating me for berating him.
I absolutely love the guy. He's been
stern but fair.
He's been a blessing. It's funny. I actually gave him shit in Daytona as we were talking, and I was like, what's funny? I was like, when I first started like chatting with him, I was basically like trying to pull his teeth, like talking to him and stuff. And I invited him onto the podcast, and I was like, "Hey man, I do this podcast with my buddy and blah, blah, blah."
He just said,
no, he just ghosted me. He did not respond at all. And then like a matter of weeks later, Justin messaged him and was like, "Hey man, you want to come on the podcast?" And he's like, "Sure." And I'm like, "What the hell?" I asked you a couple weeks ago.
He likes me more. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, sure. That's it.
Well,
we'll go with that.
I heard him on Joe Phelan's podcast the first time and just learned so much.
Dude, he's
Nerodia and how to keep them correctly and whatnot is really eye opening.
Yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge, man. He's an awesome dude, and I'm very, very, very grateful to call him a friend now.
BFFs.
So, yeah, for sure. I mean, the dude crashed at my house, man. I was like kid in a candy store. I'm like, I just have Chris Montross on the tip of my fingers to just ask all the questions I need and get all the info I want, and just take him.
You probably didn't drink all your liquor like Peter Cal did to.
No, absolutely not. Montross does not.
Look, I gave him that. Okay. The man liked rye, and I don't. I had a bottle of it. I was like, "It's all yours." I was unaware of what some of that. I was not prepared for the consequences of such an action, and
they made it so much more entertaining that you did.
Yeah, you had to edit that podcast before you posted it.
No, I had to edit it after I posted it.
Oh, it was after. I knew it was live, but I thought before you actually posted it.
He's a nice guy. I enjoyed talking to him, but I was just. I just kind of had to look at him and be like, "Why the hell did you do that?
Why?"
I thought we had a good thing going.
We had a good
thing
going here.
We shared a moment over subox and rhino rats, and then you just had to go and do that.
Yeah,
it's like it's an honor to have him and Tim Morris in my garage sitting with me, and chowing down on pizza and all that stuff. And then
then all hell broke
loose. It was like, oh God, don't do that.
The moment came and the moment went. It was over before you knew it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was for the people watching. For me, I was just panicking, going, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!"
Yeah. Well, at least you can say you weren't the only one.
I wasn't. And it's funny. I saw Sean Bradley at Daytona, and I don't even really know him. Like, I know of him. This was the first time I had sort of met him, and I had talked to him, and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I got a podcast," and we had Pete on, and the same thing happened. So when all that went down, I feel for you, man. I know exactly what you went through.
The problem is he got all the attention for it, and it wasn't like good attention.
Well, he was like, "Oh, I didn't see that." And I was like, "Well, fortunately, it was late, and there was like next to no one watching at the time, so I managed to curb it."
Yeah, so it didn't seem like it didn't stir up anything with you, but there was like there's a period when it happened on that other show that it was going around, and it was bad.
Tell you, Sean Bradley was a really cool guy to meet to that show at Daytona.
Yeah,
he told me that snake, and then just just talk to us for 15, 20 minutes.
I didn't talk to him a whole lot. It was kind of brief, but
yeah,
basically just said, "I've been there, buddy, and I know what I feel you. I don't think there's anybody else in this building that understands what you went through, but I understand." And that's not. I'm not. It's not.
At least your daughter wasn't sitting on your lap, telling you goodnight or anything at the time.
I don't. The whole. I mean, the frustrating part is like Pete is very much rough around the edges. He's very rough around the edges.
Yeah.
He is an acquired taste for probably a lot of people. But he was such a nice guy. He was incredibly gracious as a guest. He was very appreciative of everything. Like, came in the snake room. He didn't just look at stuff and be like, "Oh, that's cool." He was like really geeking out over stuff. Like, it was cool. And he was nothing but nice. I enjoyed hanging out with him.
We're not condoning.
He's rough around the edges.
We are not condoning anything.
Yeah, I don't agree with any of the things that went down, on Sean's show or anything like that. But having talked to him, there's not even a but there. It just shouldn't have happened. But
yeah, no, absolutely not.
He's just I don't. Having met him and been around him, I don't think anything that he says in that regard is in coming from a place of maliciousness. There's no reason to talk like that.
It's one of those things that, like,
it's not a term of endearment.
It's not acceptable is the thing. It's not
in any capacity. Yes,
in any capacity, it's not acceptable. So it's just
one of those things. It's coming from the guy that I just hung out with, and he was nothing but cool. Yeah. So it was like when it happened, I was like, damn, like
that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's over now. Got through it unscathed.
It was a hell of an episode, man. That was.
Was that a Snakes and Stogies episode?
Yeah.
I need to go back.
The stories he had to share. Just it's incredible. This history of the herpetocultural, history of our hobby. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a giant.
Hanging out with Slash, selling snakes to Slash.
All kinds of craziness. That's an era of herpetoculture that I don't think you can even sort of experience anymore. That was that's a time gone by. But as far as pines go,
moving on.
What, like, you bred the Floridas or Southerns, whatever they're called this week?
Yeah.
Like, what, as far as you pairing those, because I know talking to Ron at Daytona and talking about Jake's pines and stuff, it may have even been you. I'm trying to remember. It might have been both. You cool them, and then how quickly are you putting them together after you've pulled them from after they've come out of cooling?
Yes, and see, that's cooling to in our environment is such a weird term to use. They did cool down for periods of time. Then the temperature came up. I think it's just as much of a photo period kind of thing too. I had them covered up. I didn't have them just in tubs. The tubs were covered up in towels, so they were dark. I can't remember the exact timing of it. I didn't keep records or anything.
But was there a period where you waited before you put them together, or was it fairly early on?
There was. I let them come back in and warm up and both eat a couple times, and then put them together. Probably early spring.
Okay.
And I heard a lot of thrashing in that tank, but it was up above some other stuff I had where I had them at. But I'm not a big record keeper kind of person, or I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about, and Ron said the window for those, as far as females sort of being primed and ready to go, seems to be considerably smaller than other like rat snakes and stuff like that. So he was
Yeah.
like, you can't really wait too long to put them together because you'll miss that window. So he told me when we were talking about Jake that it's like as soon as he pulls them from cooling, he's putting them together, you know, after a meal. Like we'll give him a meal and then it's like putting them together because that window just comes and goes fairly quickly.
I think that's going to be the plan this year is, you know, I'm going to cool them down for, you know, about a month, you know, 6 weeks or so. And then as soon as I pull them out, I'm going to let them sit for 2-3 days to get kind of warm. I'm going to give them a small rat. Day or two after that, I'm putting them together. You know, I'm hoping it's like within the week from cooling to feeding to paired is about.
Well, I think you also, if you kind of almost just shuffle around sort of how you would do things where you pull them and normally you would give them a couple meals before you put them together, like give them a meal, put them together, and then, you know, feed her fairly regularly to get her sort of beefed up.
No, and I would that's what I did. So my process was I pulled them and I got 3 or 4 meals in the female, which I was feeding her weekly at the time. So it was about 4 weeks to a month before I actually put them together. And that very well could have been where I kind of screwed up because they were receptive. Every time I put them together, there was immediate interest. Like they would smell each other. Then all of a sudden, like they would both kind of start doing that little bounce that they do, and they would kind of go over each other. And then within a matter of hours, they were separate ends of the tub, you know, and I would leave them in together for the week, pull them apart to feed. Because I don't feed stuff together. I really, really hate feeding stuff together. So I pulled them apart to feed, put them back together, and it was the same thing. They're doing that little bounce, you know, and then again, within a matter of, you know, minutes, even sometimes it would stop and they would go to opposite ends and they, you know, weren't really about it. So this time I'm going to give them 1 meal and stick them right together the next day if, you know, if I have to.
How old are they?
They're 19s.
Okay.
So they would have been 4. I like 5-year, especially the pits. I like 5-year-olds. You know, I think 5 years is kind of that magic number for most things. You know, a lot of things can breed at 3 and 4, you know, especially rat snakes, you know, 3 and 4 years old, they're fine. Yeah. I think 5 years personally for pretty much everything is like that prime age. So
that's around the mine are 5 or 6 years old too.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that, you know, giving the year they were together, they weren't really know what they're doing, blah, blah. So I'm hoping next season I can actually get it to happen because that was probably my most anticipated pairing, man. I wanted albino pines so freaking bad. But, you know, it happens. I'm hoping the forks go too, man. I'm really excited about producing those, even though the female is the demon child. She is an absolutely terrible snake, but I love her.
I want to say the pines may go early too. That you pair them up earlier than what you would stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, with them, they're going to go together right away. I'm going to cool them in January. You know, I'll probably just cool them for the month of January, maybe a little bit into February. Pull them out, warm them up, give them 1 meal, and off they go. You know, because last year this year, I waited until the female was on like a regular. So I gave her like 2. You know, her first meals were small rats. Third meal was a medium. Fourth meal was a medium, and then I put them together. Like, kind of waited. My rule of thumb with stuff is wait till it's on a normal food item and then stick them together, kind of thing. That's how I did the rat snakes, and I was successful with those. But you know, with the pits, I'm going to do the fork lines the same way, you know, and just see if if there's a correlation with that, with Pituophis in general. You know, because even the forks, I got a lock. I got one. I never got a confirmed lock from the pines. I got one for sure lock from the forks, but they didn't end up going either. They're the same age. They're 2019s ish. So, you know, but we're gonna give it a go again and see if we can't make something happen, man. They're big snakes, man. Especially that female fork. My female fork is bigger than all of them. She's massive, and she's just a horrible snake. She's absolutely terrible, but she's
horrible
really
in the best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. She doesn't musk. You know, That's all I can ask. If you don't musk me, I'm okay. You can try and rip my face off, which she does every single time. But she doesn't musk or anything, so that's cool. I was actually kind of afraid to put the male in. I was like, dude, what if I put this male in? She just jacks him up. But she was very receptive to him. He was all over her, dude. Like he wanted it, and like I said, they locked up at least once that I saw. So I know there's probably more. But they just didn't go. So
I've had a lot of
it can happen.
A lot of pairs that the first year they lock up and mate, the eggs either aren't fertile or nothing happens, but the next year is when things really go.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be the case with the forks, because I almost wonder if the female didn't reabsorb. She's so big that I think it would be hard to see eggs until she was just about to lay. And so she followed everything perfectly. She shed once after cooling, after when she started eating, I put them together. And after I saw that one really good confirmed lock, 2 weeks later, she was in a shed cycle, and it was too soon between the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, boom, here we go. She's gravid, going to get eggs. And she was always in her lay box, always chilling, and then nothing.
Yeah.
So
I had a female Okatee that did that to me this year too.
Yeah.
I swear I felt eggs in her, but nothing came out, and then they weren't there after a while.
Oh, and there's no
maybe.
Yeah, and there's no palpating that female fork, man. She's so pissed off all the time. She's just she huffs up, and pits, they get mad and they just blow up, and get huge. There's no palpating her, man. She's just so big and beastly. She won't. Number one, she won't let you. Number two, she'll probably puff herself up so big you wouldn't even feel them if they were there.
A giant animal balloon.
Yeah. So.
How are your rhino rat babies doing, Justin?
Terrible.
Have any
not
of them
doing terrible. They're existing.
They're existing because they're only existing because they are not the superior horn snake. But
they're just, hey, some people can have it easy and just, keep stuff that requires zero thought and zero effort, and that's fine and dandy.
I like stuff
There's
that
a place
lives
for that.
That's just me.
If you want a species that requires skill and finesse and attention to detail.
If you want a species that's going to make you pull your fucking hair out, get rhinos.
I still have all my hair. They've all had rosies, just one.
Okay.
And then I put some tails in a few of them, and then 2 of them gave the tails back. I tried those. Okay. Here's side note about.
Uh-oh.
Are you
Froze
there?
up again. I'm here.
What about
I'm here.
Still there?
Yep.
Better? Here?
Yep.
Okay. So I got 5 zebra danios because I was like, maybe a little safer to eat than the rosies. Yeah, they are more expensive, not by much. They were like $2.30 a piece, so no big deal. But tried those. They survived in those water bowls for several days without any problems. None of the rhinos took any of them. They had no interest in them whatsoever. So I pulled the zebras and I put them in a little critter keeper with some water and some ABS and a little shell for them to hide in or whatever, which I doubt they would. And then I come home and all the zebras died.
Did you put a shell from the ocean in there?
It was a shell that my wife had in some
Yeah,
bowl
don't
of
put anything from the
shells.
ocean in a freshwater tank.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. But I didn't understand because I was like, they just survived in these deli cups with a little bit of water in them for days without any problems. But I put them in a thing of real water, and they all died. And
Yeah.
Billy Hunt was trying to explain to me
he was schooling you on those fish.
They
man.
need
None of
filter
y'all
and
are
they
having
need air, water movement and stuff like that. I'm like, but they didn't need water movement in less water for this many days. I don't understand. So
you never know. Maybe they were they may have been about to die.
From it.
that may have been just the tipping point that did them in.
Yeah, the shell.
What kind of water container are you using to try to feed them in?
Just little 8-ounce deli cups, like standard, the green lidded deli cups from Dollar Tree that I love so much.
Okay.
And they took the Rosies in those, no problem. But Danios were just, I don't know, it was too good. So
I got a taste for Rosies.
Scrap that.
Have you put pinkies in there or just the mouse tails?
So I haven't had any like day olds. I've been waiting on some females to drop. And the mouse tails I assist fed. I didn't put those in the bowl.
Okay.
I don't know. Jake brought over some wire stuff to make perches over those water bowls to see if that helps him at all. But push comes to shove, I'll do Rosies another round and keep trying. But last time I was in PetSmart, they had a under observation sign on the Rosies. So I was like, wonderful.
That happens frequently.
Why?
Ick.
Is it like, yeah, but is it like they notice a couple are dead, so like, oh, we should probably watch this? Or is it like an entire tank is now belly up and they're all floating? Like, we need to replace these
and
like
then
see.
A mass death. You know, you'll see growths on.
They were all alive and moving around, but they were under observation.
They probably had something goldfish get is literally called ick. It's just a fungus that they get.
It's a parasite.
Yes, you see them on a lot of, it's just like almost a film over the goldfish. And you see them a lot on the feeder goldfish that people get. The signs are out there a lot for them. I used to work at PetSmarts. We had to do that all the time.
So what do you do to treat it? Is it like water stuff you put in there?
Yeah, there's stuff that you put in the water. It's called ick. It's literally called ick treatment or something like that.
Ick be gone.
And I assume Rosies can get the same thing because there's a period where I worked at the one here in Beaufort when I was in high school, and there's a period that where like half of our fish had the signs on them, like under observation.
But if they take the signs off, does that mean they're safe again? Like, I don't understand. It feels like that's
safe
when you have that many fish in a tank and all of a sudden they're all under observation. I'm like, there ain't no way all of these are like okay.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't know, man. I don't trust feeder fish.
Get some pinkies to put in there, because as they thrash around to get the fish that are flopping around, they'll grab a pinky and go with it.
Yeah, I just gotta have pinkies small enough because those things are freaking tiny.
Those things are really small.
And they don't have to be tiny. You'd be surprised what they can take.
Yeah, but what I have available is too big, like flat out. Yeah. And I just
the frozen pinkies they sell at PetSmart are tiny. They're close to like within 3 days old.
See, and I thought about that, but I haven't looked at them because I'm trying to remember the last I got pinkies from PetSmart. It's been a very long time.
I had to buy some.
I was thinking they were bigger.
No, I bought some not too long ago. I ordered day olds from Big Cheese, and they showed up and they were as big, if not bigger, than the large pinkies I got, and it made some of my baby rat snakes throw up. So I actually, to get by, because then I ordered some day olds from Rodent Pro, and those actually showed up looking more like day olds, not quite as small as the first batch I got.
Maybe
from
they were just
Big Cheese
females, naturally big babies.
Yeah, no. And so I ended up getting some day olds from PetSmart just to tie me over until I got my other order.
How many of those did you get?
I got like 2 boxes.
Oh, I was about to say, you fed all them babies. Boy, you just shelled out like $100 for like 50
I only got, I got the box of 6, and then I needed to get one more box. So I got the box. They sell like a box of like 20 or something. They have like a bigger box.
How much is that?
I don't remember. It's
$30 or something.
Yeah,
that's still painful.
It's expensive as shit, but I wasn't about to. I'd rather pay that little bit more than make all my baby rat snakes throw up because the pinkies are too fucking big.
Well, fortunately, I only have 5 of the rhinos, so I can get a box of those and give that a shot.
Yeah.
What about?
You can also come sift through the bag of extra smalls I have and see if you want to take any that are eating.
Well, the other thought I had was to buy some Rosies, freeze them with some pinkies, like frozen pinkies.
Yeah.
And see if that would get any sort of enticement out of them.
Since they like the fish, you should try the pink salmon, man.
I tried tuna, and
It's
tuna was a stupid call
Dude,
because tuna
try
doesn't smell like
the
doesn't
pink
smell
salmon.
like fish.
Try the pink
from
salmon.
what I understand, the three that I've raised and gotten eating and stuff, and in actually a garter snake that I switched over from guppies to pinkies too. It's more like the motion and the thrashing that attracts them to it, and get the water level pretty low so the fish can't actually swim, but they're kind of half flopping around, and that really got mine going.
Yeah,
and if you got a pinky in there with them, I had a baby one time that ate 3 or 4 guppies and a pinky and just looked like she swallowed a basketball.
Jesus.
You know, I mean they can take more than what you think.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an amount problem. It's just like the physics of the size of the pinkies that I have available to those babies. Like, it's just not happening. At least I don't think they could keep them down.
Swing by my house tomorrow, sift through some of the little itty bitty ones I've got, pick out the smallest ones, buy a thing of pink salmon, let them marinate in that salmon juice, and then see if you can't tease feed them. And
marinate them for how long? How long you want to marinate?
I let mine sit for like 30, 40, 50 minutes. Let them sit for an hour. Let them sit in that juice for a long time. What I did, and this worked for the hognose. I don't know why hognoses are attracted to fish scents, but I don't see why.
There's a lot of things about hognoses that don't make sense.
Yeah. So, but since they obviously like the fish, take one of those small pinkies and let it sit in that juice for an hour or two, and see if you can't tease feed them, man. Might be worth a shot.
And if not, let them gain a little size eating rosies first.
Yeah, and that's kind of the route that I was thinking about going down, was like just deal with rosies as much as I really don't want to, until they can get some size on them, and then start really getting them to switch over.
Like you said, if they take rosies, a lot of people will just drop the pinkies in the bowl, and then while they're eating all the rosies, they'll snag that pinky.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we'll see.
I would try the sending though, man. You never know. Never know.
I was tempted to try chick down with them too, just to see if it works with chondros, maybe it'll happen to work with rhinos. Because surely someone was looking at chicks and looking at baby chondros and going like, this should not work, and it probably won't, but I'm going to try it anyways. And then lo and behold, it's like the thing. So we'll see.
Try the pink salmon, man.
What brand?
It doesn't matter. Just pink
It does
salmon.
matter. Is it Alaskan?
How about a random? No, pink salmon.
It's all salmon is pink.
No, but they're specific. Like some just say salmon, but this is like specifically pink salmon. I literally went to Food Lion. I got one of those little small jars about that big around, and just said pink salmon on it. I cracked it open, put the juice in a bag, dropped a pinky in there. My hognose went insane for it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't put a whole lot of effort into all that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to stress them out either, because you make them scared of food.
Then... Yeah. But I mean, once they're going, I'll turn them. Like once they're on that stuff, man, there's no turning back usually. So
yeah,
just got to get them there.
Yeah.
There's a couple corns too. Man. Some of those het castagna motley's. There's like 2 or 3 in that bunch that haven't taken off. That one hypo animal still hasn't taken. But I went and got Walmart sells like measuring Pyrex glasses for like, you can get a small one for like $3. So I got one of those today to try boiled with those this weekend. We'll see if.
So I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just going to give you a suggestion that worked for me for my gray rats that weren't eating. All I did was I held them very gently behind the head, and I just wedged that pinky into their mouths.
Yeah, I've tried that.
They didn't. They just spit it out.
They're like,
okay,
nah.
No, that worked for all of mine. As soon as I put it in their mouth, they're like, "Oh, word!" and they just start.
Yeah, no. These castagna motleys in particular are so high strung that. Like there's one. I got one baby too. I held it by the tail, and I got it to strike and grab at a pinky, and I held it, and it held onto it, and it started eating it, and I got about halfway down, and I set it down very slowly, And then I ended up moving something like my hand or whatever, and it instantly like bailed on it and then never came back to it.
So
like they're so high strung that it's just
they
like
start eating in my hand, I sit there and hold them because I have some gray rats that were doing that. If they start eating in my hand, I hold them until they finish it.
I had other snakes I had to get eaten. So
What?
I had other stuff I had to feed, man. I was like, I ain't got time for this shit. Not today.
And that's your problem, Smitty. Gotta make time.
Did you try like the boiling and all that stuff?
Not yet, but I got the measuring glass now to do that I can mark and make sure the girls don't use that for cooking.
It doesn't matter if they do or not. Just don't tell them you used it to blanch a pinky. My wife freaked out the first time she saw me doing that. Just freaked out. I thought.
Been doing this for months.
Yeah, I had been too.
I don't care. So like, I know you can like put them in the dishwasher, wash them by hand, like it's all good. But I'm kind of weird about germs and stuff like that as far as like food related things. So I am entirely too weirded out by it to possibly wash those like that with everything else and then use them for anything food. I'm super weird about it. Like you can ask Katie. Like I'm super weird about leftovers that have been in the fridge for longer than like a day. Like
I don't do leftovers.
I am. You
guys
like,
are weird.
I'm really weird about it, man. I'm just like super paranoid about meat being undercooked and things like that, and especially chicken.
Well, I grilled some chicken up last night. That was bomb as hell.
Yeah, but Kosicki's the wing master.
That's right.
Did not have wings tonight.
Damn.
Did last.
I need to cook some wings sometime. I just bought a grill not too long ago, so I've been grilling out. I've been grilling out like every night almost. Done steaks, chicken, burgers.
Charcoal or propane?
Gas.
Boo! Charcoal like a man.
It's easier.
Gas is convenient.
Very
charcoal
convenient.
tastes better though.
Not if you know how to season your fucking food.
If it doesn't taste like lighter fluid, what are you doing?
It doesn't taste like lighter fluid.
I've never tasted lighter fluid in the meat I've grilled.
It's
not a single one.
A little bit.
2 against 1 here, Smitty. If you know how to season your food, it's not a problem.
You have a smoker, Smitty?
No.
Okay, well then you're.
Yeah, let's shut up.
Whatever, George Foreman.
Smoke a brisket and then come talk to us.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of your females double clutch? Has that been a pretty regular thing for you or no?
The only females I've had double clutch are the leucistic Texas rat snakes.
And is that one of those things where it was happening regardless of if you wanted it to?
Yeah, they weren't with a male. They just double clutched.
Yeah.
Second
so
clutch.
what was your feeding regimen like? Did you get them up as quick as you could back to a normal? Feeding?
Yeah, I didn't feed them hoping for a second clutch. Just try to get weight back on them. And the second clutches were always smaller. They weren't as big, or maybe not as fertile, but. I know I was never too excited about a second clutch because that means even more feeding and trying to put weight back on.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus I've got for, the stuff like that for double clutching is after they lay their first clutch, you kind of have to neglect them. And
just keep those meals small.
Really keep them really small and then far and few between. Like, for my Santa Rosa girl, when she double clutched, I was like, oh my God. And to make sure she didn't go for 3, I was giving her like small adult mice like every 2 weeks. Just to make sure she was pissed. She did not like that. But just to make sure she didn't try and go for 3, man, because I've heard stories of, Jason Hood talked about it on Colubrids and Colubroid, I believe. He had a corn snake that gave him like 3 or 4 clutches. And but that was because every time she laid, he was pumping her full of food, and if the resources are there, they can go again, and so it's just something I didn't know that going into my rat snake breeding. So I got double clutches from my yellow rat and my gray rat, and it did not work out very well. One girl lost a lot of weight. The other girl got egg bound. So
Oh no!
that's just fucking fantastic. So yeah, gonna try to avoid that.
Did the egg-bound snake have a good resolution, or
she's still holding it?
oh
yeah, we're approaching vet visit time. It's definitely moved. It's definitely closer to cloaca. So she's still eating and everything. She's got fine weight. She's eating fine. I'm hoping she pushes it out on her own, but I'm gonna give another week or two, and then it's gonna be a visit to my vet to try and get that sorted out.
Well, they could just poke a hole in it and.
Yeah, I had Skylar dealt with it with his popcorn carpet, and Billy went over there and helped him, drain the egg. And he was kind of talking me through it, and I'm like, dude, like I am not good with needles. I don't like putting needles in snakes, like that is not my cup of tea. So I would much rather feel a lot better just to pay a vet to do it. So like I said, I'm really hoping she does it herself because it started about midway up her body. It was literally almost at the halfway point where it was sitting. And then now it's down much more closer to cloaca. So I know it's not.
That's good.
It's not like, because I talked to my vet. My vet is actually friends with Chris Montross, and I delivered a snake to him. So I talked to him about it a little bit. And he was saying they can actually become like attached to the side of the snake, and then it won't come out, and then it can burst and they can go septic and all that. So he was like, you don't want to wait too long and let it get to that point. And I was like, yeah, no, definitely not.
And then you probably don't want to breed her again.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. She's definitely the male that I got. The adult male I have with the Pascos he's crashing. Unfortunately, he did not.
Oh, no.
He did not take the change to my location well at all. He is not eating. I can't get him to eat. I've offered him live, offered him frozen, offered him chicks. He ate 2 chicks with me when I first got him, and then he just shut off. And so I don't really know where he's headed at this point. I'm hoping somehow.
Is he an adult or?
Yeah, he's an adult.
Oh, wow.
And he was wild. He's a wild caught animal, and he was wild caught as an adult. And a buddy of mine had him for a while. So he was a long-term captive. But there's no telling how old he was when he was caught. And then he was sent to me, complete, room change and all that. And he has gone downhill severely, unfortunately. And which isn't uncommon for wild caught stuff, as I'm sure you know, Mike.
It's easy to stress them out.
Yeah, so I did everything. I've done everything I know I can do, but I'm not sure he's gonna last too long. So I'm probably gonna end up holding back. Luckily, all the babies are just perfect, every single one except one girl. One of the babies has a neurological problem, and she has to be a cis ed. So she will either end up in the freezer or somebody's pet. I don't know. I haven't decided. So we'll try to give her away if she starts eating on her own. But all the others literally ate right off the tongs. Very first feeding trial, no scenting, no nothing. So they're all smashing. So I'm probably going to keep 2.2 of those just for future endeavors. And see what happens with the adults. Got to get this egg sorted out with the female. And, the female gave me a great clutch. Her first clutch was 16 eggs, not a single slug. Everyone was perfect, 100% hatch rate. Every baby was absolutely perfect. So I don't think she's a bad breeder or anything. I just think the double clutch and, her being in a new environment as well, between those two factors just kind of made her hold on to one. We'll see. I think she'll be fine, though.
Yeah, get her to the vet. They'll get it taken care of.
That sorted out, and then she'll be ready for one of her boys once they get up to size, which a male, 2 years. So won't be too bad. But yeah, I love those things, man.
Well,
right.
We are approaching the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you were wanting
any
to?
closing comments?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for inviting me on, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming on kind of last minute. We've been bad about planning episodes out
No,
lately. And so
I wonder what I could talk about for 2 hours, but y'all made it easy.
yeah, man. The time goes by pretty quick. The conversation just flows.
Easy
and,
when the internet continues to go in and out.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah,
Internet took up at least half of that.
If my snake room wasn't such a mess, I would have broadcast from in there and had pulled some stuff out and probably had more interesting stuff to talk about. But.
No, man, you have a really cool collection, man. You got a lot of stuff in the works. I'm excited to see. From you.
It's kind of, like I said, it's been a weird year because you hear, starting in March, people are hatching stuff out already, and you're like, oh, I've got this clutch, I got this clutch, oh, I've got clutch number 47 hatching, clutch number 68, this and that. I don't even have eggs yet, like what the hell,
right?
And then, but I know, like I'm in that phase of raising stuff up where I'm going to have eggs. But,
right.
But I don't want too many eggs with the way the market is right now.
I'm right there with you, man. I have so many year-old, 2-year-old stuff coming up. It's kind of overwhelming. But
Smitty was talking on the recent podcast how it's overwhelming. I mean, you got a real job and 60 to 80 babies to feed along with your other stuff. I'm definitely not a full-time snake breeder. That's tough.
Yeah, once everything really starts hitting off, I'm going to try and always keep it under 100 babies. I realized this year how easy it is, because I had 4 clutches, all rat snakes, 2 double clutches. That's how I got the 4. I ended up with, I had 30 eggs between 2 clutches.
Jeez.
And then I ended up with 40 after the other 2. So it was like, holy shit, So it's really easy to push numbers up to 100. So I'm really going to try and keep it, under 100 once things really start booming.
Ramps up real quick.
Yeah.
Yep. Hope you got homes for them.
Yeah. But man, if people want to find you, get some snakes off you, talk snakes, where can they find you?
Instagram, MK_Colubrids. That's the best way, really. That's got all my information on it. Morph Market, Coastal Colubrids. I've got some beautiful baby Texas rat snakes listed there.
Awesome, man.
Really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get an account back up and running there so I can get some stuff on there.
Yeah, I'm still doing one listing at a time because I just don't want to pay a monthly fee for the amount of stuff I have to sell.
Yeah, that's kind of been where I'm at too, but I'm at a point where I need to just do it.
Yeah.
I may need to soon too, but I gotta stop falling in love with them again every time I take pictures.
Yeah,
it's the hard part, man.
Just have to not think about it. Just do it.
Yep.
Well, thank you again for coming on, brother. It's been a long time coming. Glad we were finally able to work it out and get you on here, talk some snakes. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, blackboxcages.com. You need a rack, you need a cage. Check them out. Use code THN at checkout. Save yourself some money. That does not go to us in any way, shape, or form. That is just for you guys. That's something Black Box does to, just help out our listeners. So check them out. Awesome people doing awesome stuff. You will not be disappointed. Me and Justin swear by all of their things. Then Steve Snaketuary with Steve Snaketuary's hot sauce. Venom's hot sauce. He's got all of his hot sauces are based around the local venomous species there in Louisiana. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. So check out his page, Steve Snaketuary, on Instagram, Facebook. He posts a lot, and he's always got a smile on his face. So check him out. And of course, Fulvius Apparel with my good buddy Justin Smith.
I always have a smile on my face.
No, you absolutely do not. You are the least smiley person I probably know. But definitely check him out. He's got some awesome gear. He's hooked me up with a lot of shirts, and he's
this is by far the most comfortable shirt I came back from Daytona with.
He's doing the Lord's work, man, over here with that gear. So
fighting the fight on cheap Gildan shirts.
Yeah,
none of that baseline ultra cotton.
It's quality, man.
Heavy cotton line.
My girlfriend's always stealing my shirts, man. She's always wearing them, to bed and stuff. I'm like, I was gonna wear
that. Look, that could be you. You go to fulvisapparel.com.
That's right.
Use code THN at checkout as
Use
well.
code THN there.
You too can have your girlfriend steal your
Yep.
shirt.
She will want to. They're soft, especially if you're a little bigger than her. Girls love oversized shirts. So, in fact,
That's a good ad right there.
do yourself a favor and just buy 2. She can have her own.
So instead of putting all these like young male models on there, Justin, put the girlfriends on.
Yeah, girlfriends and oversized T-shirts. It'll be great. But again, that code THN only for THN listeners. Save yourself 15%.
I'm gonna start doing some like not reptile related shirts, but just some stupid designs that sort of come to me. Like Talladega Nights, it's a great shirt, but I have this one I'm wearing just says "Big Hairy American Winning Machine."
I was wondering.
I couldn't see what was below the Big Hairy.
I'm gonna do another one that says "Big Hairy Spiders" and it's got a tarantula on it or something.
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff. Why not try and expand a little bit outside of the herpetocultural audience?
Yeah.
Make me my obsolete gear.
I'm working on it.
I need a hat
at
and
some point.
I need a hat and I need a shirt. They will never leave my body.
I was working on an obsolete shirt at one point, and I got so frustrated with the file I was working with that I just said I kind of just left it. I sort of just put it in a cardboard box, threw it at the doorway of the fire station, and just drove off.
You gotta do me like that, man. You make me sad. You hurt my soul.
I was also trying to do species that are actually popular.
I take offense to that. Mister, he hits me up. He's like, send me some yellow rat pictures. I sent him like 5.
He did send me some really good
ones.
He
was like,
I haven't done anything
these
with
are
them
perfect.
Since.
I have one perfect profile of a yellow rat, side angle, perfect eye shot. Everything's amazing. It's the perfect photo to put on a shirt.
You're right, Jake.
What
I
you
will
do
make that my absolute top priority.
Threw it in the trash. The trash.
Over the trash. I put it in a folder for a rainy day.
Put the picture on a shirt with Pantherophis underneath it.
That's right. That's all you gotta do. Or obsolete.
I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna put not a Baird's rat.
The superior rat snakes.
I want to do a Baird shirt too, but it's really hard to do one and it not look like a yellow rat.
Because they're one of yellow.
I'd have to add keep the color and stuff like that, which is doable, but I prefer to keep them monochromatic color wise.
I hear you.
Yeah, you can't do a Baird's monochromatic.
Yeah, I know.
Put the yellow rat one on a yellow shirt and then put the Baird's rat one on a gray shirt.
Ew.
With some orange highlights between the scales.
It's called fashion. Look it up. FullBeastApparel.com.
Yeah. Thank you to all of our sponsors,
everybody.
And thank you, Mike, for joining us once again. This was a fun episode.
Episode 200 coming up.
Yep, next week.
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do.
It's gonna be our one-on-one. I know that at least.
And then Snakes and Stogies is happening Monday, as usual. Yep. As far as I know, there's no holidays on Monday, right?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I would know that because I'm a government worker.
That's right.
And I know.
You just always ask Jake, "Are you working today?" Yes. Cool. It's not a holiday.
Yep. Pretty much.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Night.